All right. Since we have some visitors today, I just want to remind us, I don't know if y'all have metaphysical background, but I'm going to talk about some things that might seem kind of crazy today, even to those that are steeped in metaphysics. But metaphysical Christianity is truly about us understanding that we are energy beings. We are on this earth having experiences to grow, to understand who we are as God's children. And we cross over, we come back, and we have all these experiences. But ultimately, we are energy. This is a world of energy. Science is proving it all every day. And we look at things from an energy perspective. And we truly believe that Jesus Christ came to show us love. The greatest power is love. The most fantastic energy is love. Love is the strongest vibration, the most harmonious healing, health, wholeness. So ultimately, if you just believe, act, and live in love, you're right where you need to be. You're, as one of my clients always says, golden. So if love is your goal, you're perfect. We're going to talk about another aspect of love today. So say, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. I want to give this to you the way Spirit gave it to me. All right. Rising above challenges, we'll have them, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Challenges are limitations that appear that we are not equipped to deal with. They're things that we feel we are not equipped to deal with. That's what makes it a challenge, right?
Yes.
What is a challenge to me is not a challenge to you. You can probably cook dinner. I cannot. See, so it's very simple, and to me it's overwhelming. If I had to create a dinner, it would be overwhelming. So everyone has what they are learning. Everyone has things they are dealing with. Fortunately, I've crafted my life where I don't have to cook dinner, so I'm saying thank you for that. But we all have challenges that we look to every day. But if we look at challenges also as if they are opportunities to learn, challenges that come into our world and do not stay, that are not easily removed, are actually opportunities for us to learn, to grow, to change. So, breathe that in. Every challenge allows us to expand our approach to life. In every challenge, there is a belief that we are either ill-equipped or we are attached to a certain outcome and we want things our way. Doesn't that become challenging? We're going through an experience, and it's okay, but I want it to end up exactly how I want it to end up. And maybe it doesn't want to go that way. Now I have a challenge because I'm attached to the outcome. See? Okay. Now, I'm going to start with a really big example. We're going to start with the big, and we're going to bring it on home. Now, I think that most of you will understand what I'm saying by the time I'm finished. This first one, many of you have experienced at some level. So, let's just jump in. We're using Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, Book 1. This was written by Baron Spalding in the early 1900s. It was an expedition he was a part of in 1895. It began, and this is year 1. He is traveling. They were excavating ancient records in the Himalayas, India, and that area. And some masters were traveling with them. And these are masters, these are beings that have mastered materiality. They have mastered the earth plane. They understand energy. They heal people, they help people, they understand energy. With me? Okay. In this particular instance, Baird is alone with Jast and Emil, 2 masters. And he had been traveling with them. The traveling party separated. So he's with them. They've been to a village doing some healing, and they start walking. I'm going to read so you can feel. 10 o'clock that morning, there was a heavy electrical storm. No rain fell, but there was a downpour. The country through which we were passing was quite heavily wooded. The ground was covered with heavy, thick, dry grass. The country seemed exceptionally dry. Lightning ignited the grass in a number of places before we knew it. We were virtually surrounded by a forest fire. In a few moments, this fire was raging like mad, closing in upon us from 3 sides with the swiftness of an express train. The smoke was settling down in thick clouds, and I became bewildered and panic-stricken. Would you have become panic-stricken? I think all of us might have taken a moment. Joust and Emil seemed cool and collected, and this reassured me somewhat. Then they said, "There are two ways of escape. One is to try to get to the next canyon, where there is water flowing through a deep canyon. If we can reach this, it's about 5 miles away, we can in all probability make ourselves safe until the fire has burned itself out. The other way is to go on through the fire with us, if you can trust us to take you through." Huh. Now this is life and death situation. Can you trust us to take you through? He'd seen these people manifest food, he'd seen them heal, he'd seen many, many miracles at this point. Instantly, all fear left me as I realized that these men had proved true in all emergencies. Throwing myself, as it were, wholly upon their protection, I stepped between them, and we proceeded on our way, which seemed to be in the direction of the fire raging the most. Then immediately it seemed as if a great archway opened, and we went on directly through the fire without the least inconvenience, neither smoke nor heat. There were at least 6 miles of this fire-swept area we passed through. It seemed as if we were calmly walking along a trail where there was no fire. While we were going through the fire, Emil said, "Can you not see how easy it is to use God's higher law to replace a lower one when you really need the higher?" Did they really need the higher? They really need the higher. We have now raised the vibration of our bodies to a vibration that greater than that of the fire, and the fire does not harm us. If senses mortal people, if real human people could see us now, they would think we had disappeared, when in reality our identity is as it always has been. We actually see no difference. It is the concept of the mortal senses that loses contact with us. Could they see us, no doubt they would think we had ascended. We do ascend to a plane of consciousness where the mortal does lose contact with us, and all can do the same as we are doing. We are using a law given us by the Father. Simply overcoming difficulties by raising our consciousness above them, and this way we are able to overcome or come up over limitations that man in mortal consciousness has placed upon himself. Heavy, huh? This story is one of the ultimate examples of energy over matter. Using the vibration of love, light to lift, so it is not as dense or as heavy as matter. In the moment of the fire and the bewilderment was not very filled with fear, probably. The vibration of fear takes us into that lower frequency, which makes us face the challenge head on. But when he stood between the two masters and breathed and was lifted up, he went into love. And in the vibration of love, it had a physical effect on his body, a physical change. How powerful is love? All right. He absolutely was ill-equipped to deal with the fire, and he absolutely did not want to be there. I mean, who would raise your hand for that experience? I mean, even if we knew we could, we probably wouldn't want to. So, when we can trust God so completely within us, matter changes without us. Okay? None of us want to create a situation that we have to prove our abilities to master matter. We don't want to create that, do we? I mean, do we really want to create that? Yet, we do create it, don't we? Sometimes. I wanted to share with you Peter. This is in the Aquarian Gospel. It's also in your King James Version. It's in every Bible that you pick up that has a New Testament in it. This is the story of Peter walking on the water with Jesus. Everybody heard the story?
Yes.
Anybody not heard it? Okay, I'm going to tell you. So, the disciples are on a boat, and they have a crew. So that means the boat's big. It's storming outside, the boat's rocking, and one of the crew members, it gets frightened. He sees a form walking on the water toward them. And the crew member says, "Oh my God, this is a bad omen, it's a ghost." And then I believe it's John said, "No, it's the Lord. Come down. It's the Lord out there." And then the wind blew not, so hard, the wind blew not so hard, and Peter, standing in the midst, said, my Lord, if this is truly you, bid me to come to you upon the waves. And the form reached out and said, come on. And then Peter stepped upon the waves, and they were as solid as a rock, and he walked upon the waves. And he walked until he thought within himself, what if the waves should break beneath my feet? And then the waves did break beneath his feet, and he began to sink. And in the fearlessness of the soul he cried, oh, save me, Lord, for I am lost. And Jesus said, he took him by the hand and said, O ye of little faith, why did you doubt? And then he led the way to the boat. So, in this particular instance, we actually do have someone stepping into a circumstance they did not need to in order to stretch their faith to experience energy over matter. You hear what I'm saying? If that is you, say come. So, he was walking on water. He wanted to expand his faith, but who is he aligning with? He is aligning with the Christ. He's aligning with the Master. If that is you, tell me, come. You can do it. If you can do it, tell me, and I will do it. So he was relying on his faith in Jesus' power to let him have the experience. Do you see? Is that a bad thing? Oh, heck no. No. When you're wavering or need help or want to have an experience, do you not always turn and say, okay, give me the strength, God, and Jesus be with me, flow through me, Father, give me the strength to do this. I don't want to stay in the boat of materiality. I want to walk with Spirit. Now, at this time, all 12 of the disciples had done healings like Jesus taught them. They'd seen miracles happen. They'd seen him feed people, multiply food. They might not have done that themselves, but they witnessed that, but they had done healings. And normally when I preach this about this particular scripture, I talk about the 11 guys that stayed in the boat. They didn't even try. Sometimes we have to try. Sometimes something in our spirit says, call and step out. Try something. It's right in front of you. And then when we do, and we keep our eyes on the source of our strength, which in this case was Jesus, we're fine. When we look back to what the heck am I doing, now our focus and energy goes to matter. And it goes back into what we know to be the true relationship with matter. And we fall. Now Peter could swim, he's a fisherman. But it was a storm. And he was afraid because he shifted from trust to mortality. And Jesus just said, why did you doubt? You're doing good, dude. Why did you doubt? Why did you doubt that you have the capacity to have a different relationship with matter because you are an energy being? Why do you doubt that? Sometimes we need those experiences, don't we? Learning to align with the Christ, this grows his faith. Eyes on the Christ, capable. Eyes on matter, go back into the lower frequency. Go back into the challenge of the frequency. Can you see yourself when you've had moments of doing that? I'm capable, I'm back in the matter. I'm capable, I'm back in the matter. Okay? We're growing our faith when we do that. In the fire, complete trust in the Masters was completely required. In the water, you had to align with the Christ for stepping forward. Getting it? Okay, we're going to bring it home. I use this scripture a lot, which means I need to learn it. This is chapter 33 in the Aquarian. And Jesus is watching some workers. It's spring. The workers are leaving their work. They're tired. They're upset. They're exhausted. Y'all remember this story? And Jesus says to them, why are you so sad? Have you no happiness in life? And one of the toilers said, we scarcely know the meaning of that word. We toil to live and hope for nothing else but toil, and bless the day when we can cease our toil and lay us down to rest in Buddha's city of the dead. The only thing that they could hope for was death. Wow. Now, we've known people like that, haven't we? I know you haven't been in that situation, but a couple times, when we just realize we feel so hopeless, so very hopeless. And the first thing that Jesus does is change their thoughts. It says his heart was stirred. And he said this, y'all need to listen to this really carefully. Toil, which is work, should not make a person sad. Men should be the happiest when they toil. Clocking in 9 to 5, doing your work at home. Are you the happiest when you're working? Does your work bring you that? And there were many, many years in my life when I was not. I was good at it, but I had to put on my gladiator gear every morning to go out and fight the good fight, you know. I was not happy. It was toil. When hope and love are back of toil, then all life is filled with joy and peace. Okay. Hope and love, when that is behind the work that we do, then our lives can be filled with joy and peace. And this is heaven. And this is out of Jesus' mouth. Jesus' mouth. This is heaven. When hope and love are back of your work, then joy and peace fill your world, and this is heaven. Can you imagine making those shifts in your daily life? Just approaching things with a thing of hope and joy. If I have hope and joy as I get up every day to do my job, then I can change my relationship with the matter that is around me. If I have hope and joy, I could maybe cook a meal. I might be able to. Hope and joy. Hope and joy, two simple little concepts. But what does it take the focus off of? This is not my time. I'm laboring for somebody else. I can't even think my own thoughts, blah, blah, blah. Hope and joy. Hope and love. It puts the focus on me and my energy, my reward. I have hope that better will come to me, and I have love for the world around me. So my focus goes fully onto me. Fully onto me. I tell people all the time, take a short-timer's attitude in your work if you don't like it. Have you ever given your resignation and you're going to leave your job? This may be old school. Maybe you guys don't do this anymore. I don't know. But in the history of 100 years ago, you would give notice at a job. And then you would work out your notice. But those last week, 2 weeks, a month, you were the happiest employee on the block. You were happy, you were singing, you were doing it really good, and you're going, not my job, I'm out of here tomorrow. And you're living like it's blessing you, and you're acting like it's blessing you. And I tell my clients, have a short-timer's attitude every day. This is wonderful. I love doing it. I love doing it. I'm not here forever. They don't own me. I'm working for a paycheck. I get my little check. I go home, and everything that they don't pay me for, the universe pays me for. Because everything I give returns to me in equal measure. Pressed down and running over, it cannot not. So if I am not getting paid what I think I give, then the universe is going to bring me the rest of it. So I have hope and joy as I'm working, and I'll move to my next step when it's time. And do you think the next step comes? Very quickly. Very quickly. We can change our relationship with matter around us. All right. The man then said, we have heard of heaven, but it's so far away. And we have to live so many lives before we reach it. They believe in reincarnation. So many lives before they can reach heaven. And this is what Jesus said. My brother man, your thoughts are wrong. Your heaven is not far away. It is not a place of parameters. It is not a country to be reached. It's a state of mind. God never made a heaven for man. He never made a hell. We are creators and we make our own. Right? Now here's your instructions. Cease to seek for heaven in the sky and open up the windows of your heart. And like a flood of light, heaven will come and bring a boundless joy. Then toil will be no cruel task. Cease to seek for a reward from some deity in your future, because God loves you right here, right now. And open up the windows of your heart, not your mind, your heart, And like a flood, heaven will come and bring a boundless joy. Open up the heart to the idea that God is right here, right now. Open your heart to the idea that heaven is right here, right now. Open your heart to that. When we open our hearts, what do we bypass? We bypass that logical brain. The logical brain that seeks to censor, to make mathematically correct, without really understanding the laws of energy. We understand the laws of human behavior. And we try to mimic things. We try to make things the way they have always been. Opening up our hearts, there is none of that logic. There is simply love. Opening the heart. All right. Opening up the windows of your heart, you become the light. And that's what he was saying. Be the light. In our first example, Baird was trusting 100% the light of the Masters on the other side. In our second example, Peter is trusting the light of Jesus. He's aligning with the light of Jesus. And the third, we are being asked to be the light. Be the light. And you will come up over these challenges that you're facing. Be the light, energetically. And in our challenges, we don't always have to look for the lesson. Sometimes we say, oh, it's a challenge, let me dive deep. I'm going to tear it apart. I'm going to figure out what this lesson is here. Maybe if I just am the light, the lesson will either reveal itself or melt away. Because the minute I start focusing on the knot, trying to untie it yet again, with my skills yet again not equipped, I'm still going in a circle. If there is a lesson here, I will open my heart and I will let the divine show me what needs to change. Because I'm not attached to the outcome. Just going to let it flow. You hear me? Be the light. When you are the light, you are lifting your consciousness to the place where the obstacle does not exist. Have you ever been in an obstacle situation with someone and they're very adamant that this is a problem? And you just have to go into your heart and you're like, okay, God, you need to show me what I need to do. And you lift up and you show me what I need to do. And they come at you again and say, this is a problem. It's like, not really. I don't know the answer, but I'm not in the problem anymore. It's your problem now, if you want it to be. But I'm kind of above here right now, waiting to know what God wants me to do. And whatever direction I'm guided, I will go freely. I'm no longer in that problem. It's not a problem for me. Have you ever done that with a lover? Spouse? They don't like it when you first say it, but they get it. And then they figure it out. And then you get your guidance, and you act on it. And it's not a problem for you anymore. Does it end the relationship? No. No. Shifts it. It doesn't end it. Being able to lift above, to be the true light of who I am, always brings love to me. It never alienates love from me. You guys hearing? Okay. In the Life and Teachings, I just wanted to share this one little bit. By coming up over or raising our consciousness to the plane on which problems no longer can be seen, they no longer exist. If this consciousness is loved and cherished, it will come forth. So if we can love the idea of lifting above, seeing the energy of what's happening, seeing the choices, waiting for divine guidance, whatever it might be, but lifting above, then the problem no longer exists. It actually disappears. Got it? All right. I do not believe that these are 1, 2, and 3. I do not believe that we have to learn the toiling first, step out on the water with Peter, and then find ourselves in a fire with the masters around us. I believe they happen simultaneously. We are all growing and learning. Spirit said that we don't need extenuating circumstances to rally so we can grow. We all have daily routine that bothers our soul. We all have that. We don't need to put ourselves in situations where we will be forced to find love. It's not 1, 2, 3, it's simultaneous. To know, to totally trust the divine guidance, to have faith far greater, to demonstrate the faith I have, and to become the greater light in the little things. If you do not become the greater light in the little things, how will you achieve these others? If you do not take those steps out of the boat, how will you expand your faith? And when the masters come and take you and say, we got you, will you let them? Some of our fires are emotional. Some of our fires are situational, where it looks like matter's crunching us down between the rock and the hard place. My dad used to say that all the time. I lived between a rock and a hard place. And I did. I needed those masters with me to lift me up. The key I would also give you is this. In one of the early chapters when Jesus is teaching about meditation, he's telling him how to meditate and how to touch with God. He says this: your human will must be absorbed by the divine. Then you come into a consciousness of holiness. My will being absorbed by divine will. My will being absorbed by divine will. Do you ever do that prayer, not my will but thine be done, God? I'm giving you my will. I don't know what my will looks like. My will I give to the divine purpose. When I say my will is absorbed by divine will, what divine will is absorbing it? But my higher self? But the divinity of the Christ in me? And where is that will going to take me? To my plan for my life. That will is going to take me to my divine purpose. It's going to take me where I need to be. It's going to put my feet where they belong. You know? If we stay human will, your human will can only see that which is in front of it. Your human will, because it's based on the ego perceptions. And so it just plays the files over and over and over in your head. Plays it over and over and over. Divine will sees above and is greater. Divine will sees above and is greater. Do y'all hear me? They say never tell a story if you can't tell it without crying, so I'm going to skip that story. All right. I will tell you this might be helpful. I've been reading several little books, and I don't know who authored this study, but I believe that it's very famous. You guys can Google it and figure it out. But a lot of people are writing about it. There's a study about the cells in the heart itself. You guys familiar? And the heart actually has what they call a little brain in it. There are brain cells in the heart. Have y'all read that? Brain cells. And they're trying to map them to see what they're doing and why they're there. And why is there a brain in our heart? That brain has no logic in it. That brain in your heart has the connection to divine mind. That brain sees divinity. Open the windows of your heart. Trust what your heart says. Logic will catch up. Logic will catch up. Hearts say, let's do something crazy. Logic says you can't. Hearts say we are. Logic figures it out after the fact. And logic watches you, and then it figures all the steps, and then it goes, now that's logical. Now there's a plan. And the heart, our heart. This is where the breath of God can move. Now we do hear God through our heads too, but opening the windows of our heart to that divinity of intelligence that's there, that science is just discovering. Google it, it's interesting. This is the message. We are divine beings of light. We will eventually teleport, we will eventually manifest with ease, we will eventually do all those things of mastery over matter. But right now we're learning how to live in a world where we do not get caught in making matter more important than we are, and we don't get caught in our emotions. When our emotions tell us we're less than who we are, or our mind tells us we're less than who we are. This is where we are as a group. We need to lift up out of that and then understand. Then we'll understand mastery of matter. We have the keys now. Metaphysical Christianity, that's our keys. Today we can go out, we can open our hearts, we can call forth love and hope, we can know that heaven will come, we can ask for the divinity to be around our car when we're driving. Everybody do that, angels all around my car when I'm driving. We can see people bounce off of us. We can see matter move in ways it should not. I know everyone has seen that. We all have seen matter move literally in ways that it should not have moved, but it did because we were there. Because we needed it to move that way. This is our divine future. It's our inheritance. It's who we are. And it starts all at the same time. Not 1, 2, 3. Trusting, exercising your faith, and opening your heart. So easy, isn't it? Let's go with it. Father, Mother God, I ask that all that is now said be your will, your love, and your light. And I would ask that each one of you and all who hear my words see a beautiful column of light come over you now. A column that holds you in a sacred, safe space. And in your mind, allow a color to emerge for you. See a color in this column of light. Whatever color comes is perfect. And allow your focus now to go to your heart. And begin to feel the vibration in your heart. I am God's energy of love. I am God's child. And take a breath and ask that that greater love of God begin to move into your mind, through your body. And you will see or feel or sense an energy just pouring into you. Maybe it will feel like a light touch. Maybe it will feel like a river. Whatever you experience is perfect for you. The love of God moves through me now. Let it move through all that you are. And now envision in front of you a situation that has been a challenge for you in your world. The love of God moves through me now. Watch your heart. Does it change? Or is it just observing? And if you're ready, in your heart, we can surrender. Father, Mother God, I ask that my will in this obstacle challenge be absorbed in divine will. For I have no answers. I ask that my will be absorbed in divine will. I am child of God. I am God's loving energy. And let the challenge or obstacle simply be lifted up. For many of you, you would have felt no change in your heart. The attachment to the obstacle would have not been there any longer. If it was, send more love. To come to peace allows resolution. And we breathe in that peace now. Father, Mother God, I thank you for all who are here as we all take these steps to become greater. And I thank you, Jesus Christ, for showing us the way. Feel your heart. Take a breath. Send love into the room. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. How y'all feel? You are the divine children of God. These are your powers, your capacity, your capabilities. These are your rights, your keys. Use them or don't, but know that you have them. It is completely your choice. So I give you no homework. Do what your heart guides you to do. But you can say, yay, God.
Yay,